Hi, today we're going to look at optimization. I got an email from a German player, Timoteo, and he sent me two lists. One list that he had actually used in the tournament where he came second, right behind Manuel, who's the German team captain, former world champion, and an absolutely amazing player. So Timoteo did really well. And the second list is his version where he has optimized it post that tournament. So an interesting little exercise here. I will show you both lists and we can sort of see what a player goes through once they have experienced the list and the thought process that then moves into the list. I just wanted to give you a few notes on what Timoteo writes. I won't show you his email because most of it is not uh, really. I mean, he's just writing basically, is it an improvement? Which I'm sure it is. He writes about his playstyle that he likes driving it in your face, so as mobile as possible. That was where I started as well. Mobile armies. Um, so he's not sure if he needs a backline holder or if he can have a backline holder. And he's also asking, what is the enemy of Gurkhas? Is it 7+ armor? Um, there are several enemies of Gurkhas. I think one of the main drivers depends on what the build is that you're facing, right? But veterans, tough fighter veterans in area terrain, that is a problem for Gurkhas because Gurkhas really want to charge, and tough fighter veterans sitting in terrain, that becomes really dicey. So typically, as a Gurkha player, I won't do that. And of course, armor is a problem as well, especially for Brits because they have very little in the way of anti-tank capability outside of maybe taking something in their armored car slot or their tank slot, because some Piet is just no good. Right, let's go and watch some lists, shall we? Let's start with the tournament list. This is the 14 order dice, 1,000 points British reinforced platoon that he took to the tournament, came second. So inexperienced lieutenant, good, that saves points. Paragurkas, he has got 3 of them with submachine guns, and then rifles. So this is a 7-man unit. This is the standard loadout that we're seeing in competitive play, because 7 men you can't get killed in one go by a flamethrower, and you need at least 4 dead before you, so more than 50% before you take the morale test. So this is a pretty good standard setup. Personally, I like playing with 8 Gurkhas just because it gives me a little bit more of a charge unit. I can take a few more casualties before I run out of steam, but that's down to preferences. Um, Paragurkhas are really good, and saving that 1 man means that you can go Paragurkhas instead of Gurkhas. So yeah, double them. The free artillery observer, a Gurkha section. Here, this is a standard Gurkha section. Again, 7 men, 1 with a submachine gun. Not really needed, these submachine guns. I think you may be able to save them if we want to spend the points on something else. A Canadian Royal Engineer section. Yes, 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 yes. Um, needed. They don't need anti-tank grenades at all. Nope, they don't. But they need to be 5 men with a flamethrower. You could even buy them regular, save a few more points, so that will bring us up a little bit more with the submachine guns. Native irregulars, I've run these many times and I love them. Then they got nerfed. Now I don't bring them again. But a 5-man native irregular squad, yes, that's absolutely a backline holder. Can do a lot of stuff. Don't expect them to do much though. They are just 5 men. You're buying them veteran to keep them alive. Again, you could save points going down to regular or even inexperienced. I have run small units of inexperienced natives up and at 'em. It's only the 3 Gurkha units that will benefit from this, but that can be enough to warrant the up and at 'em. Inexperienced medium mortar, yes. Sniper team, lovely. Piat team, lovely. Light artillery, that's the 25 pounder, again, lovely. I just assembled mine. It's a lovely gun with a spotter. Bren carrier, and a darker Stewart. This is a really, really nice army. This is a build that we're seeing more and more. We see like this is not a standard Gurkha build, but we are seeing this Gurkha build quite often. You could get one more order dice out of this if you wanted to. 14 order dice, I don't think it's needed. It is a really, really good list as is. Um, and of course, the engineers are going to be transported in the brain carrier. The 5 veteran natives can go in the other brain carrier. They could just as well be regulars. Save the points. What would you spend the points on, though? I don't know. Not at this moment. Yeah, I do. You have no armored car. Save the points where I told you to save them and buy yourself an airborne recce jeep. Right. So let's see how he optimizes this. So this was what he brought to the tournament. This is what he did well with. I can see this doing well. Maybe especially against if you actually played Manuel. Manuel often plays horde armies and has trouble dealing with Gurkhas naturally. Although he is so experienced that he knows how to do it. This is the second reinforced platoon. Look here, he has upped the dice to 15. Lacks one point somewhere, but doesn't really matter. The inexperienced lieutenant has gotten an extra model. Now he is no longer vulnerable to preparatory bombardment. Did he have that in the other one? Let me just go back and check here. Yeah, he was. So now he's no longer vulnerable to preparatory bombardment in the same degree. He's still a little bit vulnerable, but not as much. The Gurkha sections have been cut down to save points. Is this a good idea? It depends on your local meta. It really does depend. How many flamethrowers are going to be there? Because if your enemy has 1 or 2 flamethrowers, not a problem. But if he has 4 or 5, then it becomes a problem. Then the Paragurkas are worth more. Free forward artillery observer, extra man for him as well. He's no longer as vulnerable. Again, Paragurka's 5-man submachine gun. I know that some people play this. I don't actually like this build myself because it's no longer a close combat unit. It's a threat. It's a unit that makes sure that you don't charge it. Yes, they have a bunch of submachine guns, but they're no longer that dangerous in close combat. I would much prefer getting the regular Gurkhas here. Here we have, again, engineer section. This is, again, a 5-man. The anti-tank grenades have been taken off. You can see all the things that I pointed out taken off. Except here, the submachine guns have all gone into this one unit. Up and at 'em. I don't think this is massively useful now. You have 2 units that can up and at 'em. The focus of the list has shifted onto other units than the charge units here. Medium mortar team inexperienced, love that. Regular sniper saving points, regular peer team saving points, light artillery saving points. SAS Jeep, here it comes. Look at that. Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. You could even save a few more points here because you can get an airborne recce jeep for 45 points. That only has 10 shots forward facing. This is also good, and if you can get up into the side or rear of that Stewart, the HMG is actually kind of dangerous. Bren carrier, triple Bren carrier. Yep, see, that's the focus. The focus has now shifted onto the armored section, onto the cars, the armored cars, the troop transports. This is where the focus is now. Now, does he actually have the units to go in that? He has 2 units. And then the final unit would need to be the lieutenant, which is inexperienced, or it could be a flamethrower. Could be. So one of these cars, these carriers needs to have both the flamethrower and the Piat team in it. And the Steward at the end. For me, both lists are really good, but the focus has shifted. In the second list, there's a lot more focus on having 4 armored choices and 1 AC choice. So the vehicle park here has been expanded and is now the main focus of the list. As such, Up and Atom becomes less important for the list. So in some respects, I see that this is an improvement, but it really comes down to the individual player and your playstyle, what you actually like. Because yeah, you have improved some of the elements, you have optimized some of the points spent here, but do you like to run the vehicles? Because if you do, then this second list is really good. 3 Bren carriers, they're brilliant, miniature tanks. But if you like the charges, then it's something else, right? Then you're doing less charges with this list than you did with the other list, and you're benefiting less from your national special rule. Vengeance might actually be preferable for this list here, or even getting them Indian. Right. So that was the process, and what we can see competitive players also going through. You can see that Timoteo was pretty close to what I was saying with the first list here, and then he shifted the focus of the list. So that was it for me today, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.